That's the Democratic position. What's wrong with that position?
Which is what they went to people who were, excuse me, I'm not done.
All right, I'm sorry.
Bill Maher didn't just debate Jon Lovett. He publicly executed every last woke argument with brutal precision.
For the most part, what we're talking about is a teenager who has felt that they are they have a gender dysmorphia. So what they feel like is that they feel deeply unhappy, depression, all really rampant.
Yes,
and they go to their parents.
They feel that, and then they blame it on the thing that has been put in their mind way too much, that it may be because of you're in the wrong body.
And Maher didn't just counter. He atomized Lovett's progressive dogma, dissecting each hollow argument with surgical precision until only naked ideological bankruptcy remained.
Which is what they went to people who were, excuse me, I'm not done.
All right, I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. Honestly, that was rude. That was rude. That was rude. Bill, finish. You're explaining how being trans is like being recruited into Al-Qaeda.
Well, that's glib and
absolutely 100% glib. Stupid and glib.
It is.
Yes.
Because it's not true.
Right.
And you didn't even let me get through the
You're
thing.
right.
And now I got to go.
You're just going to leave? We're in the middle of a debate.
After this merciless evisceration, the only question is whether Lovett's ego could survive another round, or if Maher would even dignify him with a second execution.
When you're a kid, when even a teenager, and you're that confused about everything, and you have no idea, and you're upset for many other reasons, the idea that they put it, let me just finish.
I'm not saying it.
I know, I could see you were ready. I could see you pulling back the bow.
Stay locked in. We're just warming up the truth flamethrower. That subscribe button, consider it your ticket to the front row of every future progressive massacre.
I got to my card that says trans. Let's talk about it. The position, look, other countries have national health services. The Democratic position is leave it up to parents, doctors. Just leave. It's not the government's decision. That's the Democratic position. What's wrong with that position?
Wait, say that again?
The Democratic position, right? Joe Biden.
The Democratic position in this state has been that the school has the right to hide it from the parents. That is something that is not going to go well with the average voter. And again, I'm not even a parent, and I get it.
Watch as the progressive playbook gets ripped to shreds. Lovett attempts his slickest word games, claiming parents are somehow involved in child transitions. Nice try. While technically possible, the shocking truth is activists have built entire legal loopholes, letting minors alter their bodies without parental knowledge. Maher pounces on this deception like a truth-seeking missile, forcing Lovett to squirm as his party's radical agenda stands naked for all to see. This isn't about choice. It's about bypassing parents entirely. The footage doesn't lie. Keep watching as the left's most dangerous lies get dismantled live on air.
And the fact that they put this in their head too much, that's my thing. Should you tell a kid, look, there's a default setting for humans, male and female, but there are variations. That's absolutely true. Some people are attracted to people of their own sex, and some people are actually in the quote-unquote wrong body, and that does happen. But the amount that they emphasize this, I compared it once on my show to entrapment.
Maher drops the truth bomb everyone's afraid to say. Activists are grooming vulnerable kids into life-altering decisions. While studies prove most gender-confused youth would naturally outgrow it, the woke mob demands immediate medicalization. No questions allowed, no alternatives considered, just permanent procedures pushed on children before they can legally vote. Maher exposes this predatory agenda with cold, hard facts. Watch as the left's house of cards collapses under scrutiny. When cornered, Lovett pulls the oldest trick in the book: absurd comparisons designed to shock rather than inform. Comparing gender transitions to terrorist recruitment? That's not just desperate. It's intellectual bankruptcy on full display. Maher sees through the smokescreen instantly, refusing to let Lovett reframe the conversation. This is what happens when ideology crashes headfirst into reality, and the results are devastating for the progressive narrative. He didn't just dismantle the nonsense, he eviscerated it. While Lovett spun circles trying to reframe reality, Maher stayed locked in, laser-focused, and ruthlessly direct. And when the gaslighting reached critical levels, Maher didn't flinch, didn't argue, didn't play the game. He stood up and walked out. Not because he lost, because the debate was beneath him. There's a moment when staying becomes complicity, and Maher knew it. Lovett may have clung to the mic, but Maher owned the room and the truth. Let's rewind. The New England Journal of Medicine decided it was time to strip off birth certificates. Because apparently, male and female are now offensive? Assigned gender, they call it. Like your anatomy is some wild guess made under fluorescent hospital lights. Sorry, but no. Biology doesn't take requests. And Maher? He called it like it is. Your body assigned your gender, not your politics. This isn't about being open-minded. This is about being gaslit into pretending chromosomes are up for debate. And when Maher broke that down, you could practically see Lovett squirm. Because that's the real problem, isn't it? The second you dare to question this ideological cult, the left smears you as a bigot. Not disagreeing makes you safe. Disagreeing makes you dangerous. And here's the fallout. They've pushed this so hard, they've alienated everyone outside their bubble. Forget real-world issues. Forget the economy, crime, the border. Democrats decided their hill to die on was redefining basic biology. And they paid the price at the polls. Because the average voter, they're not buying it. They're not confused about what a man or a woman is. But the left insists on pushing this fantasy, demanding everyone else suspend disbelief. And Maher, one of the last remaining sane voices on the left, finally said what so many are thinking: this has gone too far. But Lovett wasn't done embarrassing himself. No, he doubled down with a stunningly tone-deaf analogy, comparing regretful gender transitions to botched heart surgeries. Yes, really, as if irreversible body modification and emergency life-saving procedures are the same thing. You could see the disbelief on Maher's face. That moment wasn't just awkward, it was appalling. Lovett's moral gymnastics were so off the rails, even his audience didn't know whether to clap or cringe. And then came the final blow. Lovett tried to claim that only a few people regret transitioning. That was the last straw. Maher called him out immediately, refusing to let that distortion become gospel. Because the reality is far messier and far more tragic than activists want to admit. The number of detransitioners is growing. These aren't random anecdotes. These are real people with scars, stories, and trauma. But acknowledging them doesn't fit the narrative, so the left pretends they don't exist. And this is the core rot of modern progressive dogma. Truth is only valuable when it's convenient. Maher's refusal to play along wasn't just admirable, it was necessary. Because the longer this ideological circus runs unchallenged, the more damage it does to real people and real discourse. Maher didn't just win the argument, he exposed the entire charade. And while Lovett clung to talking points like a lifeboat in a storm, Maher did what every exhausted, rational person has wanted to do for years. He walked away, not in defeat, in disgust, in defiance, and ultimately, in victory. According to Maher, the real scandal isn't just that some people regret transitioning. It's that this truth is being systematically buried. And when Lovett tried to wriggle out of that inconvenient fact, he flopped harder than ever, unleashing one of the worst analogies you'll hear on national television. His defense? Heart surgeries sometimes fail too. So why isn't anyone banning those? Are you kidding? That comparison didn't just miss the mark, it nuked the logic from orbit. Maher's face said it all, stunned silence followed by sheer disbelief. Because here's the cold, brutal truth, comparing gender transition procedures to heart surgeries is like comparing a tattoo to open heart bypass. One is a last resort, medically essential intervention to save a life. The other, a deeply controversial elective decision often pushed onto confused minors under the banner of ideology. But it gets worse. Maher snapped back with facts. Some states explicitly allow minors to undergo gender transitions without ever telling their parents. It's not a conspiracy, it's codified policy. And yet, Lovett sat there denying the obvious, as if reality would bend if he said it with enough smug confidence. This is where the left loses people. Not because Americans are cruel, not because they're intolerant, but because the modern left has waged war on truth. They deny facts, shut down questions, and expect total allegiance to their ever-changing belief system. And the political consequences? Devastating. While they argued over pronouns and erased biology, real Americans faced real problems. Inflation, crime, borders and chaos. And when voters saw what was happening, they didn't stay silent. They pulled the plug. They voted Trump, not because they loved him, but because they were done being lied to. In the end, Maher didn't just win the debate, he shattered the illusion. And Lovett? He walked away exposed, floundering, and, worst of all, completely out of touch. Let's talk about gender ideology, because it's the clearest example of just how far the modern left has drifted from reality. They're not just rewriting the rules, they're bulldozing the facts. They want Americans to accept that biology is offensive, that questioning dogma is dangerous, and that truth itself is hate speech. But here's the twist. They're losing. The shame tactics, worn out, the cancel mobs, losing steam, because regular people, hardworking, sane, grounded Americans, are done nodding along while activists torch common sense. And it's not just about gender, it's crime surging through city streets. Groceries costing double, borders wide open. Every policy they double down on ends in chaos for the people who can least afford it. So, the public answered the only way left at the ballot box. No more whispers, no more fear, just a loud, defiant no to the madness. And with that, we wrap up today's breakdown of the clown show unraveling in real time. If you're tired of the gaslighting and hungry for unfiltered truth, hit that like button and join this channel. We don't sugarcoat, we don't bow to the mob. We just say what everyone else is too scared to admit. Send this to someone who's waking up. Share it with someone still asleep. And get ready, because we're just getting started. You know where to find me, right here. Next time, same fire, same fight.